Open your washing machine right now and look at it. That panel of buttons, that glowing touchscreen, that app notification on your phone, that is not progress. That is a trap. Manufacturers have spent the last decade systematically dismantling your ability to fix the appliance sitting in your own laundry room. They locked the software, they sealed the hardware, and they made sure that when something goes wrong, the only person authorized to help you is the one charging $150 an hour. This is the story of how they did it, and the only machine still worth owning. In the old days, if your washing machine stopped working, you opened the lid and found the problem: a broken lid switch, a worn belt, a pump clogged with a forgotten sock. You ordered the part for $12, watched a 20-minute video, and fixed it yourself on a Saturday morning. The machine did not care who you were. It did not ask for credentials. It just worked. And when it stopped working, it let you fix it. That era is over. Today, if your Samsung Bespoke AI throws an error code, the drum is not broken, the motor is fine, the water valve is intact, but the control board has decided something is out of range, and it has locked the machine shut. To find out what the code means, you need the SmartThings app. To clear it, you need a technician with a Samsung service account. To replace the board yourself, you can buy the part, but if the replacement board is not paired to your specific unit through Samsung's system, the machine will not run. The part is genuine. The installation is correct. The machine refuses anyway. This is not a malfunction. This is the system working exactly as designed. The mechanism is called parts pairing, and it is the same weapon the auto industry already used on your truck. Every major component in a modern smart washer carries a digital identifier. When you replace a control board, a motor control unit, or sensor assembly on a Samsung Bespoke or an LG ThinQ model, the main processor checks the new component's identifier against an authorized registry. If that identifier was not cleared through a dealer service portal, the machine enters a fault state. Not because anything is wrong with the component, because the software does not have permission to trust it. To unlock it, you call a technician. You pay a diagnostic fee, typically $85 to $120 just to show up. Then you pay labor. Then you pay for the part at dealer pricing, not aftermarket pricing. What would have cost you $40 in an afternoon now costs $350 minimum before they tell you the board is back-ordered 3 weeks. Compare that to a Kenmore 80 series from 1993. Mechanical timer, simple motor relay, a lid switch made of 2 pieces of copper. If the lid switch fails, you buy a universal replacement at any hardware store for $7. You unplug 2 wires, plug in 2 wires, and close the lid. There is no software. There is no pairing sequence. There is no app. The machine does not know or care that you repaired it yourself. It simply runs. That is not nostalgia. That is engineering in service of the owner. The manufacturers will tell you the complexity is necessary. They will say the AI load sensing, the automatic detergent dosing, and the vibration algorithms require sophisticated electronics. Some of that is true. But the parts pairing lockout has nothing to do with load sensing. It exists for one reason: to kill the third-party repair market and force every service call back through the authorized dealer network. LG markets the ThinQ AI DD as a technological achievement, and in one narrow sense, it is. The direct drive motor eliminates the belt and pulley, which is genuinely simpler, but LG welded the drum bearing assembly into the rear tub as a single sealed unit. On older top loaders, a worn drum bearing was a $40 part and 2 hours of work. On the LG ThinQ front loader, a failed bearing means replacing the entire outer tub. That assembly, sourced through LG's service network, runs $250 to $400 before labor. The repair bill regularly exceeds the machine's resale value. This is not engineering. This is a blockade. The GE Profile UltraFast Combo uses a sealed heat pump system. The condenser filter is accessible only behind a recessed floor-level panel That requires a tool to open. The heat exchanger cleaning involves partial cabinet disassembly, and if the heat pump compressor fails, it must come as a bundled assembly through GE's authorized supply chain at a price that makes buying a new machine feel rational. They designed the failure to be unrepairable, on purpose. Whirlpool Smart Front-Loaders carry the same trap in a different shape. The spider arm, the cast aluminum bracket connecting the drum to the rear shaft, is a known failure point on front-loaders everywhere. On older Whirlpool machines, it was a standalone $45 part, available from dozens of suppliers. On the current Smart series, reaching it requires full drum removal, door boot seal disconnection, front panel disassembly, and inner tub extraction. Whirlpool's own service manual lists it as a 2-technician job, requiring a $200 drum support strap tool sold exclusively through their professional service portal. The part that fails costs $60. The labor to reach it costs $500. You cannot talk about this without naming the company that wrote the playbook. Not Samsung, not LG, not Whirlpool. The appliance industry learned this strategy by watching John Deere run it on American farmers for a decade, and then they copied it line by line. Deere sold farmers $400,000 tractors, and software locked them against self-repair. A $50 sensor failed in a field. The farmer could physically replace it in 10 minutes with a wrench, but the software would not recognize the part until a dealer drove out to authorize it with a laptop. Farmers sat stranded during harvest, losing thousands of dollars an hour, waiting for permission to use their own property. Deere kept the revenue. The courts moved slowly. The legislation moved slower. The appliance manufacturers saw the margin. They sealed the lid and copied the model. Now Maytag, the brand that built its entire identity on the lonely repairman, the technician with nothing to do because the machines never broke, sells a smart front load washer that requires the Maytag app for diagnostic access, not for your convenience, for their gatekeeping. When the machine throws a fault code, the app does not tell you what it means. It does not link you to a repair manual. It opens a scheduling portal for Maytag's authorized service network. The information about your own machine is withheld from you deliberately as a business decision, so that your first move is to pay rather than fix. This is not a feature. This is a toll booth. Whirlpool's connected diagnostics operate identically. The 6 Sense technology in their Smart series sends machine data to Whirlpool servers. They will tell you this is predictive maintenance, for your benefit. What they will not tell you is that the diagnostic data generated by your machine in your home is proprietary to Whirlpool. Third-party repair technicians cannot access it without subscribing to Whirlpool's Pro Service platform. Independent shops are locked out. That forces them to diagnose blind. Longer repair times, higher labor charges, more recommendations to replace rather than repair. They built the information asymmetry on purpose. The confusion is the product. Samsung completed the architecture with the Bespoke line. They sold the customizable panel system as personalization. What they built underneath was a parts ecosystem where every replaceable panel is SKU matched to the unit's configuration. A standard panel and a bespoke Clementine panel are not interchangeable through the open market. They run through Samsung's retail channel at Samsung's price. They turned a cosmetic choice into a recurring revenue event. You did not buy a washer with a replaceable door. You enrolled in a design subscription billed at the moment of damage. They locked the software. They sealed the hardware. And now they are charging you for the privilege of changing the color of what you already own. This is not manufacturing. This is a platform strategy. They looked at what software companies did with subscriptions. Lock the user in, control the ecosystem, extract revenue at every point of friction, and they decided your washer deserved the same treatment. You did not buy an appliance. You licensed a laundry service. And like every subscription, the moment you stop paying their rates, the machine that sits in your home stops being yours. So is the home mechanic dead? Not yet. But walk through any serious appliance resale market and you will see the resistance forming. Kenmore 80 series machines from the mid 1990s are selling for $150 to $250 on secondary markets, above their original inflation adjusted retail price in some regions. Whirlpool Direct Drive, top loaders from the 1990s with the simple 6-button panel and the transmission that rebuilds with a $12 kit, are being hoarded by people who understand what they have. Maytag Dependable Care, machines with the porcelain tub and mechanical timer are being serviced and kept running specifically to avoid what replaced them. GE Filter-Flo washers, built from the 1960s through the 1990s, are still running in basements across the country because the lint filter is accessible, the pump is replaceable, and no software has ever been involved. Speed Queen still manufactures commercial-grade top loaders for residential use. A base model runs over $1,000, but the transmission is a direct descendant of the design used in commercial laundromats for 50 years. The bearings are serviceable. The parts are available. The company publishes its own repair documentation. You can own that machine the way you used to own all machines, completely without asking permission. You have two choices. First, support right to repair legislation in your state. Several states have passed or are actively considering appliance repair bills that would force manufacturers to publish service manuals, provide diagnostic access, and make parts available to independent technicians at fair pricing. Every major appliance brand is fighting that legislation through industry lobbying groups. That tells you exactly how profitable the current system is for them. Second, buy the old iron. Find a Kenmore 80 series, a Whirlpool Direct Drive, a Maytag Dependable Care, a GE Filter-Flo, or a Speed Queen with a mechanical timer. Buy a machine where the lid opens to a motor, not a circuit board. Buy a machine where the repair manual is a printed sheet inside the back panel, not a login portal. The war in your laundry room is real. They locked the software. They sealed the bearings. They hid the fault codes behind apps you never agreed to need, but they cannot take away your ability to choose what you plug into your wall. Reject the subscription. Keep the old iron running. And never let them tell you that you are not allowed to fix what you own.